If you don't have principles now, you won't have them later. If you don't have the money principle of living beneath your means, you won't be able to do it when you have more money. If you don't have the relationship principle of not relying on others for your sense of self, it won't magically resolve itself when you meet the right person. You will only sabotage that relationship too. What is a principle? A principle is a fundamental truth that you can use to build the foundation of your life. A principle is not an opinion or a belief. A principle is a matter of cause and effect. Principles can become personal guidelines. Some examples of money principles are the following: keep overhead costs low, get out and stay out of debt, live beneath your means, or save for a rainy day. Many financial experts advocate prioritizing debt repayment as the beginning of financial health. This is because one day of accrued interest probably won't impact you that much, but 20 years will, to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. In the same way, one day of gained interest in investments won't make a big difference, but 20 years will, to an even more significant margin. The point of having principles is that it shifts you from short-term survival to long-term thriving. Most things in our lives are governed by principles. Stephen Covey explains this well. Principles are a natural law, like gravity. It's different than a value. Values are subjective. Principles are objective. We control our actions, but the consequences that flow from those actions are controlled by principles, he says. This means that if we are committed to the principle of eating good food each day, we will inevitably reap the benefit of better or improved health. If we write a sentence each day, we will inevitably write a book. If we commit to paying off a portion of our debts each month, we will inevitably pay them off. If we invest consistently and wisely, we will eventually see a return. Our lives are governed by principles, as Benjamin Hardy explains. Most people cram for tests while in college, but can you cram if you're a farmer? Can you forget to plant in the spring, slack off all summer, and then work hard during the fall? Of course not. A farm is a natural system governed by principles. So are you. The law of the harvest is always in effect. What you plant, you must harvest. Furthermore, what you plant consistently over time eventually yields a compounded or exponential harvest. You often don't experience the consequences of your actions immediately, which can be deceiving. If you smoked one cigarette, you probably wouldn't get cancer. If you spent $10 on coffee just one day, it probably wouldn't affect your financial life. However, over time, these habits have drastic outcomes. It turns out that $10 daily over 50 years at 5% compounding interest becomes $816,000. When you make an investment, you don't expect to see a return that day. In the same way, you can go to sleep feeling accomplished, knowing that you chipped away at your future just by adhering to your principles. Little things, done repeatedly and over time, become the big things. Why is inspiration ineffective here? Inspiration can be misleading. Big dreams, not backed by strategic plans, are big flops waiting to happen. Inspiration means you take a feeling and elaborate on it. You allow your mind to wander. You piece together pretty pictures and create an image of how you'd like your life to feel. Principles are boring. They aren't inspiring. They are the laws of nature. Principles are not immediately gratifying. They do not make us feel better right away. That's why we often reach for inspiration but find it to be ineffective. This is because we get our minds and hearts set on a vague idea of what we think we want without ever really evaluating whether or not we want to engage in the daily work and effort it would take to get there. When we don't pair inspiration with the principles it takes to achieve those dreams, we become more lost and disappointed than ever before. How do I start developing my own principles? Nobody is born with excellent principles. They are something that you learn. However, there are many different principles in life, and some may contradict one another. That's why it's important to adopt your own, ones that fit your goals and your life.